Hello everyone, Tristan5601 or Tristan5601 here, back with more Yandere-Chan, and I hope you guys kind of enjoyed the best choice ever, as the ending was was surprising at most, somewhat. But you kind of saw it once you watched part 4, I think, or 5, in which you find out that your player is poisoned, so I guess that's a spoiler if you haven't watched it yet, so while you're watching this, can I go back, watch it, I guess? But, I had already said that there was one choice that we did not go and look at. And I kind of guessed that a little bit, as you can tell, but I did find it. After long looking, I found it. Like, what's this? Clicked it, looking through it, just like a few slides ahead, and I noticed something I didn't see before, so we had not chosen that yet, and we'll be doing that now, after I take a drink out of my Coke. So, the choice we didn't do was at this part, where Mia's bag falls over and her calculator falls out. We pick it up and notice it has saliva and stuff on it, and she catches us. We turn around and we say one of two things to her. We said, "Are you thirsty?" We said, "You thirsty?" Which we then went to the bathroom, cleaned it, and yeah. What we didn't do was, there's something I want to talk to you about. There's something I want to talk to you about. Who was I kidding? I didn't want to cause this girl any more grief. It was time. I think they meant it was time to be a man and come clean. I sat back down on the bench. Mia placed her bag by her feet and sat beside me. Then I reached into my pocket and pulled out the calculator. Why do you... It fell out of your bag while you were over at the timetables. I meant to put it back, but when you came back, I got nervous and stuffed it into my pocket. I'm sorry, Mia. I had no idea this calculator was so important to you. I should have asked you before I went and threw it away. Mia took the calculator from my hand. Wait, Mia, it's covered in... I'm sorry, too. Huh? I said I'm sorry, too. I lied to Tristan. I said that I needed to go to the toilet when really, I just wanted to get the calculator back. I'm sorry. Do you forgive me? Do you, Tristan? Please forgive me. Don't hate me, Tristan. This girl. Pat. Eh? Dummy. Why wouldn't I forgive you? I gently rubbed Mia's head. Tristan? She blushed lightly and nuzzled my hand. She was pretty cute. I guess we were both just a couple of liars, and it looked like we were both worried for nothing. We both apologized and forgave one another, and everything was right once more. So we sat there together on the bench, waiting for our trains to arrive. After about 10 minutes, I started to get thirsty. I remembered spotting a vending machine by the overpass when we arrived. I figured now was as good as a time as any to have a soda before I got home. My mama was pretty anal about having anything sweet at this time of the day, especially since it was getting pretty close to dinner time. So I decided that I would fetch myself a soda and quickly drink it before my train arrived. I turned to Mia to ask if she wanted something to drink as well. And that's when I finally noticed it. Mia still had the calculator out. That wasn't what caught my attention. Slurp, 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 slurp. At that point, the last puzzle piece suddenly fell into place. The staring, the reason for lying, the personality shift, the saliva on the calculator, all of my questions were answered with a single glance to my left. Ugh. There was Mia, with calculator in hand, and she was licking it. Right in the broken frame where I cut my leg. Her tongue was ravishing the inside like it was another person's mouth. Specifically, in the areas where my blood had seeped into it. In the look on her face. Ecstasy. That was the only way to describe it. It was as if lapping up my blood was her single greatest pleasure in life. If I had to guess, with the amount of force she was using, the blood would have to have all been gone by now. Slurp, slurp, slurp. But she wasn't stopping. In fact, she was increasing her pace. If possible, she would probably have kept looking on until every trace of me was gone from that calculator. Slurp, slurp, slurp. This was absolute madness. Mia had rummaged through garbage purely for the sake of obtaining a calculator that contained traces of my blood in it, so that she could lap it all up like a kitten drinking milk. At that point, I started thinking back on what I said to myself earlier. The other kids told me she was weird, and after talking to her for a while, I concluded that was not the case. She was just a bit of a daydreamer, but it turned out we were all wrong. Mia wasn't weird. She was spacey. She was insane. Completely and utterly insane. And for whatever reason, all of her insanity was directed at me. Roar. Swish. Smash. With a wild roar, I grabbed the calculator from Mia's hands and smashed it into the concrete. For a moment, she remained seated, stared at her empty hands. Then she slowly stood up and just stared silently at the broken calculator on the ground. And then she turned to look at me. Does this mean I can lick Tristan's knee now? Just as I thought. It wasn't about the calculator. It was never about the calculator. It was all about licking my blood. I refused to let her disinfect my knee. So instead, she went for the next best thing. I didn't know the specifics, but it was clear that this kid needed help. Grab. I grabbed Mia's shoulders and held her in place. She looked down at my knee, and slowly looked up at my face. This was scary. I was staring directly into her eyes, and all I could see was emptiness. Like looking into the eyes of a doll. What the heck happened to this girl? What made her become so crazy? Mia stared back down at my knee. Tristan never did put a band-aid on it. You said you were going to put a band-aid on it, but you didn't. Now Tristan will get sick, unless you let me disinfect it. You don't want to get sick, do you, Tristan? Let me disinfect it, so you don't get sick. I tightened my grip on her shoulders. Mia, the only sick person here is you. And not just because you've been ingesting my blood and God knows what else from that dirty calculator. You're not thinking straight. We need to get you to a hospital. Tristan, you're hurting me. I could feel her struggling to get away, but I wasn't about to let that happen. She needed a doctor. She needed mental help. I know I'd only just met her that day, but it felt like it was up to me to make sure that Mia didn't run off and hurt herself. Call it chivalry, call it stupidity. Call whatever the heck you want. But I was gonna do all that I could to help her. It hurts, Tristan, it hurts. Why is Tristan hurting me? Why are you doing such a thing, Tristan? Sorry, Mia, but you need to bear with it, because I'm not letting you go. I scanned the station looking for someone to call out to. I figured if I could get someone to help to call an ambulance, I could keep Mia subdued until they arrived. Then the paramedic could inject her with some kind of sedative, and they could take her to the hospital. Hello? Somebody! We need an ambulance over here. But dang my luck, the place was deserted. Not even a lousy security guard. What, did they all clock off at the exact same time? This dang economy. It's making people's lives harder in so many ways. If it weren't for the current situation, I would have probably laughed at that remark. It hurts, Tristan, it hurts. Why are you hurting me, Tristan? Why? Tristan wouldn't do such a thing. Tristan would never hurt me. That means you're not Tristan. Who are you? Where's Tristan? What have you done with Tristan? Give Tristan back to me. As Mia's rambling became more and more erratic, she began to struggle more violently. Whack. Ow. Bash. Ah. Wham. Hey, no hitting below the belt. Let go, let go, let go. You're not Tristan. Tristan wouldn't do such a thing. Give him back. Give my Tristan back. Give Tristan back to me. Mia was fighting with all of her might to break free. I was beginning to lose grip on her. In more ways than one. Help, anybody.